Councilman Luke visited the police station in person to talk about recent experiences to Sheriff Benson. He said that online public opinion had accused him of being related to the Coral Dragon restaurant that forces Special Crowd to provide services. These rumors not only disrupted his life, but the restaurant owner had also received death threats as a result. For this reason, he begged the police to conduct an on-site investigation to prove the falsity of these claims and clear both his and the owner's names. Shortly after, two officers, Jack and Tutu, rushed to the restaurant. While they were conversing with the restaurant owner, a righteous person suddenly burst into the restaurant, demanding that the owner release the girl in prison in the basement right away, threatening to end the owner's life on the spot if his demand wasn't met. The owner made it clear that there was neither anyone in prison nor a basement in the restaurant. Seeing that his threat was ineffective, the man fired a shot as a warning, causing the situation to become worse. Immediately, Tutu and Jack took action to control the intruder. The man claimed he had seen the restaurant's design plans online, firmly believing the girl was locked in the basement before them. But when the owner opened the door to the so-called basement, everyone found it was nothing more than a storage room.
This is your teenage sex slave?
The man was left dumbfounded. An investigation revealed that all public opinion about the Coral Dragon restaurant originated from a website called Endless Truth. The man previously arrested had also posted related comments on this site, but what was touted as a righteous rescue had turned into malicious harassment. Through IP address tracking, Amanda and Tutu located the workplace of the website's creator, Ducat. Surprisingly, the whole website was operated solely by Ducat himself, with just one computer sufficient to spread his personal opinions worldwide. This highlights how low the cost was to spread rumors. Ducat insisted that the information he published wasn't baseless, then displayed the contents of Luke's email. Amanda had expected Ducat to reveal some shocking inside story, but she found the email only mentioned Luke booking a new dish at the restaurant at 4 p.m., Chinese broccoli. In Ducat's view, no one started dinner at 4 p.m., and he interpreted the English abbreviation for broccoli as a reference to Special Crowd. He also showed multiple group photos of adult men and women in the restaurant, claiming there was illegal activity in them. Even more absurdly, he even misinterpreted the restaurant's dragon logo as a heart shape, claiming this symbolized inappropriate feelings toward Special Crowd in the dark web. Amanda demanded to know how much profit these absurd claims had brought him, but Ducat argued his actions served the public, that receiving payment was reasonable, and that this was freedom of speech guaranteed by the Constitution. He also produced a so-called key piece of evidence. Daniel, a former supplier to the restaurant, had a prior conviction for assault. Amanda swiftly snatched the document, determined to thoroughly investigate the matter. To prove it was nothing more than a coincidence, Tutu and Amanda tracked down Daniel. He revealed that he had collaborated with the Coral Dragon 10 years ago. He was only responsible for supplying tableware to the restaurant. Later, the restaurant owner started purchasing goods from his cousin, so the partnership with Coral Dragon ended. Due to his allergy to MSG, he never visited the restaurant again. Regarding the information exposed on the website, Daniel said it was difficult to defend against, because 30 years ago, he was indeed arrested for an assault charge, but now he had turned over a new leaf and had a happy family and a decent job. Then the police held a press conference. They made it clear that the Coral Dragon was actually just an ordinary Chinese restaurant. They appealed to the public not to readily believe the false rumors online. It was thought that this farce had come to an end, but unexpectedly, Amanda made a new discovery on Ducat's website. Fans of Endless Truth posted comments claiming that they had found a criminal website on the dark web, truly involved in illegal transactions with Special Crowd. Benson realized the seriousness of the situation and forwarded the website link to the police computer crime unit right away. But the criminals were very cunning. The images on the website might have come from nearby streets or distant countries. The contact method was a disposable phone number that never answered unknown calls, unless someone logged into the website with a real name IP address. After some investigation, the police actually found an identifiable IP address, and shockingly, the owner of the address turned out to be the previous congressman, Luke. the police had just issued a statement clearing his name, when his name appeared on the criminal website, throwing the police into confusion. Facing the website content displayed by the police, Luke was furious. He claimed he had never seen this content before. He had originally thought the previous email hack was just a farce, but the current situation was clearly trying to destroy him. Then the police found a large number of sexy pictures and search records of special crowd on Luke's computer, showing that Luke was either a pervert or framed, and to prove his innocence, Luke provided the police with his travel records. Through in-depth investigation of the website's transaction records, it was found that every time transaction information was sent from Luke's computer, he wasn't in front of the computer but in other regions. At the same time, the website involved many IP addresses, but only Luke's personal information wasn't anonymized. These evidences fully showed that Luke was framed. Although every piece of public opinion was confirmed to be false, the authenticity of the photos displayed on the website was beyond doubt. There must be a criminal gang behind it. The police's most urgent task now was to rescue these innocent victims. Benson guessed that the anonymous person found that the restaurant incident hadn't had the expected impact on Luke, so they found an actual criminal gang to frame Luke again by spreading rumors. This anonymous person must have some special resources or channels. If this person could be successfully found, maybe the missing girls could be found. Benson thought of Ducat again, because he had received Luke's email information from the anonymous person regarding the above conjectures. Tutu and Amanda found Ducat again. The other person said that they should carefully investigate the Coral Dragon restaurant, and Luke exposed in the emails, and claimed that the sender had always sent information anonymously, knowing nothing about other information. When the police proposed to take his computer for investigation, Ducat physically blocked them and refused the proposal. The police had long expected his refusal, and showed the search warrant that had been prepared in advance. Immediately, in court, Ducat attempted to resist the police search through legal means, vigorously declaring himself a representative of justice, a guardian of the people, and a defender of the truth. But his real-life actions of discrediting the truth made these inspiring declarations appear deeply ironic. After the verdict, the defeated Ducat arrogantly said that this matter wasn't over, threatening to make the police pay for provoking him. Back at the police station, Benson was focused on case analysis, but was suddenly interrupted by an unexpected incident. The Endless Truth website began publishing defamatory remarks about Benson and Amanda, and even released their private photos, maliciously accusing them of taking part in the restaurant's illegal activities. Not only that, website fans also targeted their innocent children, and even issued death threats against them. This series of sudden events was incredibly horrifying. Benson and Amanda sought police protection for their families. Given the seriousness of the situation, the police arrested Ducat right away. His hypocritical, evil, absurd, and vicious actions were so despicable that no derogatory terms could fully describe his low character. In the interrogation room, he even claimed that all surveillance photography was done by fans voluntarily, that he had only published an article questioning police collusion with criminal gangs, and that all other matters had nothing to do with him. He even proposed to Benson the absurd idea that he should conduct a DNA test on his child. Seeing his son subjected to such slander, Benson grew increasingly angry. If not for the protection of the law, Ducat might have been killed on the spot. At this point, the computer crime unit successfully tracked the anonymous person's IP address. Using technical means, luckily, this anonymous person had long been under surveillance by the police headquarters, and had already been arrested. At police headquarters, Benson and Amanda urged the anonymous person to tell the truth. George claimed he was just a data messenger. He revealed that someone had contacted him on the Endless Truth website, and asked him to frame Luke. Coincidentally, he then found comments on the website that Daniel had been legally sanctioned for assaulting a young girl. This aroused his curiosity, so he hacked into Daniel's computer, and found websites involved in illegal activities.
This guy, he's a real pervert, not me.
The case now took an unexpected turn. Based on the evidence provided by George, the police quickly brought Daniel and his computer equipment to the police station for investigation. At first, he refused to plead guilty, but the police soon found a large number of sexy pictures and 2 records of contact with intermediaries of the criminal website in his computer. Faced with conclusive evidence, Daniel finally confessed to his crimes. He claimed that he had been tormented by desire day and night, and failed to control himself, so he broke the law again. In order to reduce his punishment, Daniel reached an agreement with the police. As long as he, under the police's tight surveillance, re-established contact with the intermediary of the criminal website, and took part in the arrest operation, he would have a chance to reduce his guilt. Under the cover of night, the police ambushed at the designated location. Suddenly, a vehicle carrying girls arrived as scheduled, just as the police planned to carry out the arrest during the money transaction. A sudden incident disrupted the police's plan. Upstairs, Daniel used getting a drink as an excuse to take a gun from the cabinet and tried to end his life to escape responsibility. Tutu promptly stopped his action. The gunshot broke the tranquility of the night, startling the driver waiting outside the building. He closed the car door right away and fled the scene. After a tense and thrilling chase, the police stopped him at an intersection. Benson stepped forward with a gun and arrested the driver, and rescued a girl. Back at the police station, the driver claimed he was only responsible for picking up and dropping off clients at designated locations, and this was the first time he had transported girls. He claimed to know nothing about other circumstances. The girl revealed her name was Marion. She was from El Salvador. Her boss Jerry had long forced them to provide special services. Whenever there was an order, Jerry would take her to a random location, then the driver would pick her up and take her to the transaction site. The driver would wait outside the transaction site until the transaction ended and then take her away. She was imprisoned with 4 other teenage girls. Marion's testimony showed that the driver directly confessed to the crime, but he claimed he had no direct contact with Jerry. Even facing the threat of 20 years in prison from the police, he repeatedly emphasized that he had told everything he knew. Seeing that the driver couldn't provide useful information, the police could only seek a breakthrough through Marion, based on her description of the surrounding environment. When she left the criminal hideout, the police showed her a series of real-life photos of nearby streets, in the hope of helping her recall the exact location where Jerry had imprisoned them. Luckily, Marion quickly recognized a dessert shop.
Espera, wait. We get fudgies there.
At that time, Jerry was carrying a large amount of cash. He took her to go shopping on foot, which showed that the criminal gang's hideout was nearby. The next day, the police accompanied Marion to look into the area around the dessert shop. An apartment with a statue of the Virgin Mary caught her attention. The police then took decisive action. They raided the apartment fully armed, and quickly took down the suspect Jerry. Regarding Ducat, Benson warned him that he must completely delete all defamatory remarks about her and Amanda, and must never engage in any similar behavior in the future, or she would use all means to expose his evil deeds, vowing to put him in prison with her own hands. Under pressure, Ducat had to comply with the arrest of the criminals, the deletion of the public opinion, and the return of the victims. The case should have ended and all farces should have stopped, but a phone call brought bad news. Benson quickly arrived at the restaurant scene. The owner explained in a panic that Councilman Luke, to prove his and the Coral Dragon's innocence, had come to dine with his daughter. Suddenly, another righteous person broke in with a gun, mistakenly believing that Luke's daughter was being coerced, and shot Luke during the altercation. The incident that should have been resolved quietly started again. By the arrangement of fate, the film starts with the Coral Dragon rumor, when Ducat used the absurd logic that broccoli equals special crowd to incite public opinion. When the righteous person broke into the restaurant with a gun, the truth had already become a sacrifice to thought. The sharpest irony in the play lies in that Ducat, in the name of freedom of speech, built the endless truth empire, this huge existence that seems to be exposing hypocrisy, and guarding the truth is actually using fragmented information to carefully weave a murderous cage. From Councilman Luke's email to Sheriff Benson's private life, behind every seemingly righteous accusation lies a conspiracy of cliques and hatred. The film's deconstruction of justice is sharp. When conclusive evidence appears in Daniel's computer, when the basement of The Virgin Mary apartment reveals imprisoned girls. The two plot twists shatter the audience's perception like thunder. Truth may be wrapped in layers of rumors, and behind the truth hides an even deeper darkness. In this era of fragmented information, how can we distinguish between keyboard warriors' righteous indignation and criminals' cunning? The tragedy Benson saw in the restaurant at the end is a metaphor for the whole story. When public opinion becomes a weapon, no one can stay unscathed. Even those trying to refute rumors and uphold justice may eventually become victims of cyclical violence. The film begins and ends with gunshots, completing its critique of online violence. In a closed-loop structure, those truth-seekers reveling in front of screens may never have thought that every justice button they click could be the last straw that crushes someone else. This work isn't just a suspense story, but also a wake-up call. In this era where everyone can have a voice, holding rational doubt and warm kindness is far more precious than blindly chasing truth. If you like my channel, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe.